wildfire system is now burning across Nebraska, and the scale is extreme. More than 600,000 acres have already been consumed, with multiple fires merging into a single expanding burn zone. The Morrill fire alone has surged past 500,000 acres, making it one of the largest wildfires ever recorded in the state. At peak spread, containment dropped to zero as fire lines were completely overrun. Winds exceeding 60 miles per hour are driving this fire across open terrain at speed. Flames are moving for miles in hours, shifting direction rapidly, and creating an unstable and aggressive fire front. Entire regions, including areas around Lake McConaughey, have been forced into evacuation as conditions change without warning. Smoke is spreading across multiple counties, reducing visibility and pushing air quality down across a wide area. A full emergency response is underway, including National Guard deployment, aircraft, and ground crews. Even with that response, large sections remain uncontrolled and continue to expand. This is a fire event on a scale that would normally dominate national coverage, with active fires still moving across open land. Efforts are ongoing to bring it under control, and further updates will follow as conditions change.
All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. The beauty about all this, while everybody else is distracted, and distracted, oh, somebody put the right thing in there. Wow. See how I like how people think. Smart city, here we come. The smart cities need to be established for what reason? So that way they can control everything. So here it is, clearly, it's clear as day what really is going on. Distraction after distraction after distraction. And the reason why they won't put this up in public news, your CNN, your Foxes and everything like that, is because of one reason and one reason only. They want to control the narrative of what's being looked upon. Recall the whole thing of the Epstein files. The Epstein files, which is also the leading force to blind people to be irate, and yet people are not irate that you had sickos, pedos that were running this country. Not a single arrest that's taking place, but you hear names and you have a distraction of a distraction of a distraction. What is so significant about this is the crops that's being destroyed. Now, with all the stuff that's happening in the background, which we all know, we could clearly see, we ain't blind, wars and high tariff costs, all these things that happen is going to lead to what? A great famine, literally famine in the world, mainly here in the shores of America. So this is a clear-cut indication that the true war that the Lord have against Babylon. All right. So we are living in some beautiful, beautiful times, man. This is the most exciting time to be alive. All right. Matter of fact, let me get the scripture real quick. Get a particular scripture. Should be Matthew 13 and 17. It says, For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. So what was the Lord talking about? He was talking to his disciples, like how blessed they are. All right, how blessed they are to be able to see these things, and how blessed are we to see these things, to see the downfall of our enemy. Okay, and we could clearly see that the Lord is brewing something up so beautiful from your ice. Think about it. We only in the third month of the year, so you already had trauma in the sense of ICE, which right now Homeland Security is not getting paid. So since Homeland Security is not getting paid, ICE is not in power any longer for the time being, and they was busy around Trump. They was busy around running the show to everybody. Everybody was in great fear. Well, that's part of the prophecy. That's devil coming down having great wrath, but because he knows he has but a short time. That's the thing we've been saying for a long time. All right, and now we get to see it. We get to live through it. Another bro was talking about it. Matter of fact, since I'm in the neighborhood, Matthew 24. I start at 5. The point is further down, actually 8. But I'll start at 6 instead. It says, "You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So we heard of all these wars that's been in place, that's around the world, and the scripture says what? It was just rumors. It was just loud, but now it's action right now, action packed. Okay, so it's no longer a a tall tale of what's to come. It's already here. It's already here. We in World War III. At the Wadi Habashim Yal Shai for that one. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, which a civil war among the nations, which will take place." All right, which is going to take place real soon. You can see why. Think of that fire. Think of all the crops that's being destroyed. When Trump talking about ICE, right? So Trump said that immigrants is going to steal jobs for Americans. What jobs was he talking about? Oh, you don't know strawberries you like to eat? Well, who you think was plucking the strawberries? Who you think was plucking all these things that were who? They were Israelites. All right? And these Israelites, now this guy's he's reversing time and say, oh, he wanted the farmers to pretty much own the workers, the migrants. So you could clearly see that something weird is brewing. All right. And that thing that is brewing, the hatred that is brewing, this thing is a powder keg. It's about to blow up. So it's not going to take much for different races of people to go against other races of people. And it says, and kingdom against kingdom. Right now, we in World War III, beginning stage of World War III. And in this beginning stage of World War III, Babylon is trying their best to do what? Babylon is trying its best to control everything. But they're losing. They're losing their own allies. So we right at the perfect point. It says, and there shall be famines. Now through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, we realize that the famines that they were speaking of the scriptures is going to be man-made. And who's going to be responsible for all this is Esau. Esau's responsible for all this stuff that's taking place. So don't be surprised if you hear somebody lit that place up on fire during the process of war, when the country needs to be at its strongest point because of the lack of gasoline, lack of food to be able to travel. Right, all these things is going to take place, and all who's responsible for all this is Esau. It says, and pestilence, which they've been talking about, certain pestilence is going to take place. It says, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and that's what he was talking about through the spirit. These are the beginning of sorrows. So it's like so all this prelogue? I told the brother intro, a prelogue. Was it prelogue? That's what it is. Slack. Let me look this up. And let me look up this thing. Every time I do this, I keep forgetting I'll be looking at stuff and it gotta be prelogue. I think that's how you spell it. Not prelogged. Prelogue definition. There it is. An introduction section of a literature work, play, or musical performance, and sets and scenes providing crucial background information are established in theme. So if you use that in biblical term, we was just in the beginning stage of all the hell that's about to take place. From wildfires to earthquakes to technology, okay, men getting with men, women getting with women, because all this is gonna coexist of the destruction. Now we're about to enter the action scene. All right. So the buildup was this, all the stuff that we've been saying, and now the action scene is going to take place. And all you people that desired an exciting life, you was living a boring life. Now you're gonna get everything that you wanted and then some, for prophecy's sake. So that this is going to be the action part, the action-packed scenes, T attacks all over soon, lockdowns, all right, massive deaths. All this stuff is going to take place. Luke 12 and 49. It says, I have come to send fire on the earth. And what will if it already be kindled? So Yahushua is the one that's setting this fire up on the earth. He's the one that's setting it up. All right. Remember, this is the Lord's movie. This is the Lord's scenes. So the Lord has built up everything to this valid point. Sorry, not valid. To this crucial point. Now everything's been made, like the scripture says, matter of fact, Zephaniah 3 and 5. It says, no, sorry, 3 and 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. So the Lord's determination was always to gather the nations. All right? So the background scene is perfect. The scene is quite simple. War, famines all over, but Babylon the Great, now Babylon the Great is going to start feeling the Lord's wrath. Now things are going to seemingly be dire. All right. From the pretense of everything, Babylon the Great right now has been living a very quiet life. Now everything's coming to fruition. So the he's been determined, he's been plotted this out. He's been plotted this out against all Idumea to get all the nations to come together. The nations are tired. They pissed. They just Babylon the Great and that welfare state of Israel has really disrupt the whole world's peace. Okay? Now we in dire straits. But through all this process, the Lord didn't leave Babylon unscathed. This is going to affect everything. So the gas prices is going to affect from outside America is going to affect America. Now the food crops that's being burnt in mid-America is going to affect America. So we living in some dangerous times. All right, and famine is the key. And a lot of you people are going to wish you're going to be dead. All right, Lamentation 4, I haven't read it in a while. 48? Is it 48? No. It was the fourth chapter. Oh, it has been a while. It says, let me just type it in. The hell? Hold on. Oh, that. Slovakia. Lamentations. What? I put by the sword. It's going to take fucking forever. I can't remember this off top. It's not the fifth chapter. Gotta be the fourth chapter. Let me take my sweet, precious time. It says, oh, there it is, right in place. Lamentations 4 and 9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. So it's better off to die by the sword than to die the death of food. All right, food, the lack of bread is coming. Okay, the stage is set. All right, stage 2 is set. The lack of bread is coming, but these pine away stricken through for the want of fruits of the field. When you look up the word pine away, the Hebrew is zawab, to flow, gush, issue, discharge. Damn. It says to flow, gush, to die, pine away figuratively, to flow, issues of a woman. So let me read that again. Oh, let me read it in the NLT. Let me see what it says. The stage is set, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, it's NIV real quick. Those killed by the sword are better off than those who die of famine. Reckon with hunger, they waste away for lack of food from the field. Another good word is waste away. So, yeah, and you can see clearly that the stage is set. The stage is set for this great famine that's going to take place in America. Now, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, dearth. Acts 7 and 11. Both of them, 7 and 11. It says, now there came a dearth over all the land of Egypt, which is in Canaan. This is Peter, I'm not Peter, Stephen giving the history of Israel. All right. And great affliction of our fathers found no substance. Because why? There was nothing growing. Acts 11, I just saw it, 28. Now I'm going to look up the word dearth. It says, and they stood upon one of them, the name Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that they should be a great dearth throughout all the world, which came in the past in the days of Claudius. Now, normally they'll give you, there it is, NIV. One of them, named Garbus, stood up through the Spirit, predict that a severe famine was spread over the entire Roman world. This happened during the reign of Claudius. So dearth is synonymous with famine. All right, famine. What's famine? Lack of bread, lack of substance. Not bread. Sorry, the lack of access to food. And this devil is playing a dirty, filthy game. And that dirty, filthy game is he's removing food out of the table. He's going to control it. So the shit about to get real. Second Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Because what will happen if the stock is burned? All the stocks, all the livestock, all the everything was burnt up. All right. Oh, we still got food. We got reserves. What's going to happen once the reserves are gone? Do they even have enough money in case of a natural disaster take place? Do they have enough food? They was acting up just to give people food stamps. They take away this. They were begging for $200 billion to go to this war. They've been begging, so like it. They've been begging the world for money for other things. I believe they said what 30 billion was too expensive to feed people, but they asked for 200 billion for war, for war convenience. I'm sorry, war of not war of convenience. It's a war of choice. They decided to go to war with Iran. So it leads the average American to suffer. I mean, I can't even find a nicer word to say it. Just for you to suffer. Second Ezra 9 and 1 says, He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when I see as part of the signs which I have told thee before, thou shalt understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, which is go back to Matthew the 24th chapter. This is the Lord visiting. This is the Lord's determination. The background is set. All right. If you think you're going to go travel somewhere in the world, you want to escape, well, there's nowhere to escape because Americans are not wanted here. They're not wanted there. Don't even think about going to Caribbean islands because he's attacking everything. So it leads everything right here, the focal point, which has always been the Lord's focal point, America. Therefore, when that should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then that will understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. But like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and the end is manifest, and the end is manifesting itself. All right. And part of the main thing is famine. 2 16, actually 15 and 16. Well, I gotta go to 15 because 15 goes, unlike what Nate says, it's talking 15 is it's talking about America. 15 on down, which I'm gonna start at 12. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation shall be smitten with a plague, and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. It's not talking about actual Egypt, it's talking about America. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and the hail with the fearful continents. When in order to plant anything, they go by, damn it, I had it in my head, call something when they use the moon as a way farmers Amalek? Oh no, not Amalek. Amalek. Um, there's a farmer's calendar by the moon that they use in order to determine when is the perfect time to plant. All right. What the scripture says is going to be destroyed, right? It's right there. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And for they shall be sedition among men, right? It's not talking about the how this guy said that the people of Saudi Arabia is going to go against the prince of Saudi. No, it's not talking about that. It's talking about here in America. And invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, because why? Despite the termination of the title kings and princes, mayors, governors, even the president, they have the power of kings and princes. All right. It says in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people are going to take it upon themselves to fight off. And men shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. This is like they said in the comment board, 15-minute city. So they're gonna kill all that crop, and it's still a chance because if you know fire takes place, what normally will happen, new life will be springing out, right? But obviously Esau, his whole thing of late has been nothing but a land grab, all right? It's nothing but a land grab. Whatever they can get, they discover something, they're taking it by force now. So because they're doing that, once those places become, look at the law that they had that determines if a natural disaster happens, like it becomes government property because it's uninhabitable. So what are they going to do on top of all that? So since they got new land, okay, they could make cities. In this case, they might make a data center, or they could build a city. But these cities is going to be 15-minute cities where people is only going to be allowed to go 15 minutes away from home. So this is a perfect setup to make that. All right. Imagine a whole bunch of New York cities in America. So Chicago doesn't stick out in the zone. Everything looks like Times Square. All right. But it's not talking about that. Everything is gonna be like Manhattan. Everything Manhattan, those that never been to Manhattan, everything's in a radius of within 15 minutes. So New York is an automatic 15-minute city. Also martial law. But because like I said, some people is gonna desire to go somewhere and they won't be able to. It says, for because of the pride of the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So the lack of bread is not a slogan, it's going to happen. And they're making sure that food does not circulate, that the harvest, when they were supposed to get crops and give it to the people, that the people will no longer get the food because they don't see people as normal. They see you like how they say goyim, cattle, all right? And cattle have no say. So you could clearly see the setup, all right? Which is going to force people to do things that they never thought they would be doing towards each other. Things that they've seen in films, they're going to be doing it because they've been programmed literally for years. Yeah, the survival instinct is going to kick in. And a lot of, like the scripture says, because of iniquity shall abound and love of many shall wax cold. And that waxing cold, when the Greek is psychos. So people not going to look at each other as ordinary people. When lack of food is involved, yeah, people take it upon themselves to go crazy. All right. And that's what's going to end up happening right here in the shores of America. Hey, Tawari Yahabashim Yahshai. And don't be surprised if this Nebraska thing dies down, which is not even being looked upon. Another part of America get burnt up when they had farmland to feed a whole bunch of people. All right. And all these different places that had natural disasters, there's never been like a resolution to that. You don't hear nothing about North Carolina after their storm, which was supposed to be an ordinary storm, and that ordinary storm became a whole nother level of disaster. All right, when the flood and people were there was in the mountains, they were stuck. So, like I said before, this is like a a movie that's being played out. This is like a straight up movie. So, with that being said, it was something real quick to the spirit. Shalom to the elect in the nation of Israel. Shalom.